You're listening to Puma Podcast.
The benefit of reading is actually opening their minds or opening even their emotions towards gathering information and actually seeing how they can react to the world, at least through books. Kasi it's one thing to actually, interact with kids, and it's one thing to actually read books. But the process of reading, rather, is that you actually have more of this compassion, at least for children, na nalalaman nila kung ano yung mga current stories for children, and it opens their ideas to, someone is also feeling what I feel. So, mostly on the children level for reading, it's very emotional.
If you love reading, whether for fun or for school, you've probably found your way to online book communities like Book Talk, Bookstagram, Booktube, or even a virtual book club. And it shows. Physical books are still very much in demand. Titles by Mitch Albom, Rebecca Yarros, Sarah J. Maas, and Adam Silvera remain some of the top sellers at National Bookstore. Over at Fully Booked, one of the most popular bookstores in the country, business is growing too. It now has 43 branches across the Philippines. So, with such an active reading community, you'd think that young Filipinos would be reading more than ever. But here's the catch: not many young Filipinos are reading for pleasure, and our literacy and readership rates are alarmingly low. If you're a bookworm, a parent, or someone who cares about education, this episode of Teka Teka is for you. I'm Jen Garcia, and you're listening to Teka Teka, powered by Puma Podcast. According to a 2022 study by the World Bank, many Filipino children suffer from what's called learning poverty. That means they can't read and understand a simple, age-appropriate story by the age of 10. More than 91% of Filipino children in late primary school, those aged 6 to 11, struggle with reading skills, and those numbers are worse for boys. Around 91.7% of young boys fail to reach the minimum reading proficiency expected at the end of primary school. For girls, it's slightly lower, but still high, at 89.2%. A separate 2023 readership survey by the National Book Development Board reflects the long-term impact of this literacy crisis. Only 42% of adults and 47% of children say they read books outside of school.
Bakit ganun yung numbers natin for the readership? Actually, readership, at least for non-education or leisure books, kung tawagin nga, accounts for 3 factors.
That's Gillian Reyes, a project development officer for NBDB, also a registered librarian.
So the first factor is access. Ang unang tanong ba dyan, may access ba sila sa libro? May mapupuntahan ba sila para makapagbasa ng libro? And so on. So, it all boils down to access. The second one is environment. So, pag sinabi nating environment, nandoon yung meron ba akong place para magbasa ng libro? May tahimik, quiet space ba ako magbasa ng libro? So, ang laking factor nun kasi nga, again, reading books requires a lot of thinking, requires a lot of patience. And if wala ka sa conducive area, mahirap magbasa. Then the last factor is cost. Kasi magkano nga ba ang isang libro, di ba? Kung bibili natin. According to the whole survey, ang willing na price point ng ating consumers for books is 99 pesos. And 99 pesos is very low, at least for a book. So, makakuha ka na lang siguro sa book sale, second-hand books. Pero a new trade book can set off for at least 150 hanggang 500. Minsan nga mas mataas pa. So, if yung tanong bakit mababa yung numbers na yun or parang 46% hindi man umabot ng 51, is because of those 3 factors that I've just mentioned.
But I wanted to ask a follow-up question because I also thought that maybe the reason why these children or adults don't have like access or don't really read is because of the low literacy rate that we have in the Philippines. So do you agree?
Okay. So, besides of the 3 factors that I've mentioned, so when we're talking about literacy and reading kasi, it's mostly, yung readership kasi, ang tanong niya, outside of the school, or ano ba yung mga pwede pa nilang basahin bukod sa required readings na pinush ng DepEd. And for one naman kasi, like I've said, that reading takes a lot. There are other factors involved besides yung citations of literacy. So, one factor that equates to readership is one, yung culture nila. Kung may nagbabasa ba sa bahay or may nagbabasa sa school. Kasi syempre, kids are very impressionable. So, pag nakita nila nagbabasa parents nila or teachers nila, mas magbabasa sila. Number two, one factor then is, of course, nutrition besides literacy. Kasi if nagugutom, paano magbabasa? So, that's also one point to actually look at. Kasi nga, hindi dahil sa tinatamad sila magbasa or ayaw nila magbasa. Pero minsan, nagiging factor, at least for these kids, is nagugutom sila. And it's funny kasi there's this currently new trend na nagpapakita na besides those two factors, yung culture and yung nutrition, the third one is eyesight. Minsan hindi nila nababasa yung libro, not because wala silang access, but hindi nga kasi nila talaga mabasa physically. So, nandun rin yung eyesight factor. So, hindi lang yung literacy yung titignan natin.
2021 data from pharmaceutical research firm Novartis showed that more than 2 million Filipinos suffer from vision impairment, and over 4 million Filipinos have undiagnosed eye problems.
But of course, it also says na, yun nga, we're trying to push forward a more literate Philippines. So, leadership helps in that sense kasi nga, people grow more curious, people actually read more, and with reading, di ba nga, yun nga ang factors of literacy. A requirement for literacy is read and write, basically. So, at least we have one down, di ba? Reading. That's 50% of the battle.
How does the Philippines compare to other countries? Global assessments show that we're falling behind when it comes to literacy. One key indicator is the Program for International Student Assessment, or PISA. It's a global test that measures 15-year-old students' abilities in reading, math, and science. In the 2022 PISA results, the Philippines ranked among the bottom 10 out of 81 participating countries in all three subjects. When it comes to reading, Filipino students scored well below the average of countries in the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The OECD is the global hub for data, research, and best practices in public policy. Only 24% of Filipino students reached at least level 2 in reading. That's a long way from the OECD average of 74%. Level 2 is the minimum benchmark. At this level, students should be able to identify the main idea in moderately long text. But here's the real concern. Almost no Filipino students reach level 5, the level where readers can understand long and complex texts, grasp abstract ideas, and tell facts from opinion. Globally, about 7% of students reach this level. In the Philippines, that number is close to 0. To help address this crisis, organizations like the National Book Development Board are stepping in. They've started giving grants to authors and translators, hosting the Philippine Book Festival, and setting up book nooks across the country to make books more accessible to communities.
If I'm not mistaken, the book nook, at least for the NBDB, currently has about 114 to 116 sites around the Philippines. So it's a very big number, given that it really targets the communities that needs access to books. Kasi quite recently, the team went to Tawi-Tawi, and that's very far, at least in the perspective of Metro Manila, di ba? Kasi Metro Manila lagi namang may access sa books. So it's not more of the mall setting na nakikitang book nook dito sa Metro Manila, but rather really a community-led book nook. Hindi siya yung, kasi when we think about book nooks, at least for for in college, for example, yun yung pwede ka mag-iwan ng libro, pwede ka kumuha ng libro. Pero hindi lang kasi yun yung factors involved with book nooks. Kasi kailangan talaga ng facilitation. Kasi you really have to put forward this area or this environment where reading is really suitable or reading is really accessible. So, Yun, just to give you a really brief background of that. Kasi, uh, yun talaga bringing it closer to the community ang target ng book, no?
Thank you so much for that, Jill. And then what's interesting with what you said also before is the giving the grants for pag translate. And also I think also NBTB does things like they help publishing books, right? Can you tell us how these little projects help in, like, specifically how it helps in promoting readership, maybe not just among children but also adults din po?
Okay. So, ang facilitation naman for that is, of course, papunta sa authors and translators. So, it's providing content. It's growing the content naman. Kasi, for the publication, mostly ang target ng NBDB is yung mga books na hindi mapapublish normally. Like, for example, mga arts and sciences, ganon, technology, kasi hindi siya nabibigyan ng further attention kasi nga ang hirap niya ibenta, for example. Yung mga ganong um, avenues for actually publication naman. Hindi naman lahat ng publishers ang target nila mga ganong klaseng books. Mostly ang books na target ng publishers is yung bebenta. So, we're really giving more of the avenue to every author in the Philippines. Then for translation, syempre, bukod sa international languages, nandun din yung local languages. So, natatranslate siya from English to Tagalog, Cebuano, Hiligaynon, what have you. Kung meron mang kayang mag-translate in that area. So, yun nga, again, it's still rounding back to access.
Do you have any data that you can share that really improve the, well, not really readership, but maybe like footfall of the NBDB Book Festival, and maybe just some anecdotes po, encouraging numbers or figures from the festival?
Okay, so at least for the Philippine Book Festival, we've garnered more than 40,000 participants who joined the Philippine Book Festival. So nag-open up talaga siya for everyone, for the whole Philippines. So everyone who's interested in reading and everyone who's coming into reading is actually seeing na okay, ang laki pala nito. Ang laki pala ng tulong ng pagbabasa, or ang laki pala ng mga pwede kong mapuntahan kapag reader ako, ganun. So it's very exciting in that level. And mostly kasi ang nangyayari sa book festival, besides of course yung mga events, yung mga book signings, is we're helping DepEd actually scope their books. So the one good thing about that is we're giving access to the Philippines towards giving the books that they need to children, to young learners, to the primary and secondaries. So sila kasi ang very important to target, especially na nagde-develop talaga ang reading at that age. Kasi according to the survey, if I will connect it really to the PBF and the DepEd buying books, is that mostly ang nagbabasa ng leisure books is around 16 years old. Pero we have respondents that also say na 11 years old pa lang nagsisimula na ako magbasa or nahilig na ako magbasa. Yun kasi yung important note dun nahilig. So, enjoying reading starts at 11 and really develops when they're 16. So, from that data point pa lang, makikita natin na it's important to penetrate young minds into reading, especially giving them access to the books, guiding them ano ba yung mga books na available, alin yung culturally appropriate for them, kasi syempre mostly kapag nagbabasa tayo, lalo na kung yung access is international, hindi naman siya relatable. So it really brings in this culture of reading, of books for Filipinos by Filipinos, and it gives them a sense of identity, gives them a sense of belonging na okay, yung mga kwento pala or yung mga na-experience ko, makikita natin sa media. Makikita natin in that sense, at least sa pagbabasa.
Earlier, we mentioned that less than half Filipino adults read books for fun. That means many parents may not be modeling reading habits at home. And as Reyes pointed out, Building a reading culture at home is one of the best ways to raise kids who love to read. But here's the reality: both kids and adults today spend a lot of time on their phones. On average, Filipinos spend nearly 9 hours a day looking at screens. That's more than half of our waking hours, and it's well above the global average of 6 hours and 43 minutes. So, how do we bring books back into the picture? Studies show that reading just 15 minutes a day can already boost test scores. And physical books still have an edge. They offer better focus and comprehension compared to reading on a screen. Still, it's not always easy. Parents face their own challenges when it comes to reading, whether it's time, energy, or access to books. That's why the National Book Development Board says it's not just up to parents. Teachers, principals, and other adults in the child's life can also help promote a love for reading.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the readership survey on that. Kasi sabi sa readership survey that most of the respondents, or at least 50% and above, say na kaya hindi sila nagbabasa, hindi dahil sa ayaw nila. Pero kasi wala silang oras. So, number one, of course, it's a systemic thing na kailangan natin mag-provide ng at least an avenue for reading, or at least this environment wherein pwede sila magbasa. And that's systematically a library, basically. And besides that, besides really going into, like, for example, yung mga parents na nagbabasa, ma-influensya niya yung kids niya, kasi that's a very big thing already, is that really promoting, at least for the elementary and high school pa lang, na talagang magbasa. And not just that, but also seeing that their teachers, their principals, their librarians also read. And yun talaga na-entertain yung ideas nila. Kasi nga, this is a very community building thing. It's a very sociable thing. Like peer-to-peer. Like, hindi ka naman magbabasa kung ikaw lang yung nagbabasa. Hindi ka may invite na magbasa kung ikaw lang, nakikita mo ikaw lang. So, yun talaga, mga peer-to-peer, like yung classmate nila nagbabasa, na-influensyan sila. Pero iba pa rin talaga kapag adult. So, at least in that setting, for our education, for kids, is that we really form this idea or this culture na masaya magbasa. Masaya na masaya makita na yung mga kwento natin napuput into page, or kung hindi man yun, we get to think about other ways of looking into the world, especially kapag nagbabasa sila ng, let's say, speculative fiction, fantasy, na there's other ways of looking through or rather going through life, especially when you're reading books. So it's important really to build a community and a culture that reads. And it starts mostly with, number one, of course, the parents. Kasi kapag nakita nga sila ng anak nila, magbabasa rin sila. And our education system as well. And it really pushes forward na kapag nasimula mo yung culture nila by 11 years old na nagbabasa na, tutuloy-tuloy na siya. They become either avid readers, or kung nagiging busy sila in life, mahilig pa rin sila magbasa, pero yun nga lang, kulang lang sila ng oras. So, yun nga, like I've said earlier nung start ng interview, na nakakatulong sa pagde-develop nga yung sa pag-iisip ng kids, yung reading. It gives them an emotional thrust towards, feeling more or expressing themselves more. It's also the fact that reading really promotes a community. Kasi when you talk about reading, you don't talk about just one person reading and comprehending, but also people who discuss the same ideas. Like, we see book clubs, for example, really going into the culture of reading. Kasi nga, nakaka-relate yung mga kakilala nila. So, it's very peer-to-peer pa rin. And, yun nga, going back again to the projects that NBDB has, like the Philippine Book Festival, the book fairs that we're helping out, the book nooks, yun talaga eh. It's building this community, it's building this identity, it's building this authorship, this leadership that really forms in the full function of what does it mean to be a Filipino? What does it mean to live in the Philippines? What does it mean to be a kid in the Philippines? Diba? So it's bringing forward both the access and the knowledge na, nakikita ko yung sarili ko sa media, sa pagbabasa.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka. We hope you find this discussion insightful and helpful for your families and young Filipinos out there. Once again, I'm Jen Garcia. This episode was edited by Anthony Tobias and produced by Consuelo Marquez. If you like how we do our conversations, follow us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.